Hey, we're about to start the show, and you know the drill. If you've been here before and you have something important to share, please add a capital letter Q to your comment. And if you are watching live for the first time, please let us know by writing the word new, and we'll give you a nice little welcome. Enjoy the broadcast. Hello, it's Monday, it's another week, it's April, new month, new week, new vacation week for some. This is Coffee and Headlines. It's a pleasure to see you today. We're going to talk about Semana Santa, how it went for those people that spend time here. We're going to talk a little bit about political campaigns. And what else do we have? I don't remember what else we have, but I know we have some good stuff to share. I hope you're all doing great wherever you are. I got a chuckle out of Albert's comment. He simply said, "No, Albert, what happened? You just said no." And I'm curious about that. Everybody else has all kinds of lovely comments, including Brian, who is reporting +4 this morning in Calgary, loving the single-digit temperatures, but ready to be home. Come back. We miss you down here. So this is Coffee and Headlines. For those of you that don't know, this is our little get-together every morning where we take a look at the headlines from our city, state, and country. We take a look at what you're up to as it relates to Puerto Vallarta. We try to connect some dots and become better informed, more inspired residents of our city, English-speaking residents, and it's a pleasure to be part of and create these connections every morning except for Sundays. Let's get started with what we have. And of course, Semana Santa is over. This is the first week of 2 weeks in which Mexico goes on vacation. The second week we call Semana de Pascua because it's the week after Semana Santa or Holy Week. We can expect a few vacationers, not as many as during the first week. But it will still be a very busy week for those living here in town. Here in Puerto Vallarta, municipal, state, and federal authorities worked very hard to keep things in check and to provide safety for the thousands of vacationers that chose our city as their vacation destination. Unfortunately, not everything was good news. There were 22 highway accidents that were registered during the week. And local lifeguards kept very busy as tourists attempted to enjoy swimming in the ocean during a weekend where high waves predominated. And of course, yesterday, social media was plagued with images like that. It was time to go back home, and thousands of people driving on the new highway heading away from Puerto Vallarta were witnesses of this. This is what it looked like. Of course, if you were coming back to Puerto Vallarta, things didn't look so bad at all. I also read a couple of isolated reports that indicate that the time to drive to Guadalajara is indeed shorter now that the Compostela to Las Varas stretch of the highway has opened. Of course, I still believe that a lot of it has to do with the time of day and day of the week that you are driving. So just keep that in mind. And also, as announced last week, several candidates hoping to become the next Puerto Vallarta mayor initiated their political rallies yesterday at different locations throughout the city. Here we see the wife of former Mayor Luis Michel doing her campaign. She is one of several individuals that are hoping to become Puerto Vallarta mayor, and we'll see a lot of this kinds of news coverage between now and the June elections. So I'll try to extract fundamental or interesting information from these reports as we move forward. And last but not least, whether it is because of serious developments or important developments, I should say, or whether it is because of the dozens of memes that it has generated, the whole situation in Sinaloa, particularly in Mazatlan, between musicians and hotel owners, continues to generate buzz around the country. Even President Lopez Obrador chimed in on the controversy involving the feud between hotel owners that complain about musicians being too loud and musicians hoping to make a living by playing outdoors. Lopez Obrador was, of course, on the side of the musicians' right to protest, as long as the protests are carried on without evolving into acts of violence, which is what everybody would expect. And that's what we have for the news block this morning. Let us take a quick look at the weather forecast to see what's going on out there presently. Oh, Snarky Weatherman says, my next evil plan: obscure everyone's view of the eclipse behind cloud cover. Oh, that is kind of sneaky and not very spirited. I think the eclipse will be visible here in Puerto Vallarta right as Coffee and Headlines is ending in a few weeks, of course. So we'll see. We'll play it by ear. We'll see how it goes. But now we are enjoying 24 degrees. Humidity is high at 80%. Perhaps heralding the weeks and months to come. And our weather forecast for today says it's going to be a humid day with mostly cloudy skies, with a high of 28 and a low of 19. Then tomorrow will be an overcast day with partly cloudy skies in the afternoon, a high of 28 and a low of 19. And then Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies throughout the day with a high of 26 and a low of 17. And I just caught a fascinating question in the comments, but I'll wait till it's time to... No, I am curious about this question because Pat says, I went to the beach early in the week, but avoided it on Saturday and Sunday. Then Curtis asked, way too busy, but no, somebody asked. Who did? Andrea asked, Pat Reese, which beach do you like to go to? And I think that's a lovely question for anyone to answer. Feel free to throw in your answers to what beach in Puerto Vallarta do you enjoy spending time at and why. And I'll be happy to chime in with my own personal preferences once we get to the chit-chat section. But first, I want to make sure that you are not losing sleep as I was. Well, not quite, but I was quite concerned last week. Even Dr. Simi had to explain himself after he announced last week that he was stepping down from the limelight after Mexico's most famous and most beloved mascot announced his retirement. And the ensuing shock of many followers, he clarified. He came back and posted that he was simply going away for Semana Santa vacations. Boy, I was worried, or was I worried? If you don't know why Dr. Simi is so popular, just write the word Simi in your comment and I will be so very happy to share a brief explanation. And of course, this is a time of year in which we start sending love messages to all our friends that have a swimming pool in their backyard, hoping for an invite. In that regard, Hotel Mercurio has you covered with their legendary Beers, Boys, and Burgers Sunday parties, where you can definitely enjoy a swim in the pool. But if you don't wish to be covered with beers, boys, and burgers, and unless Paul has changed his policy, those wishing to enjoy the pool at Hotel Mercurio can do so without being registered at the hotel. All you have to do is order from the food and beverage menu, bring a bathing suit, and enjoy the pool while you're there. And even if you forget your swimsuit and you are a boy, you can probably shop for a swimsuit right there, as Hotel Mercurio has its own brand of swimwear. And I also want to let you know that a benefit for the Vallarta Gay Plus Community Center has been announced, and it will take place on Saturday, April 13th from 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Act 2 Entertainment. The organization is led by a group of dedicated community leaders whose mission is to provide affordable access to essential health services, focusing on sexually transmitted infection prevention and detection while creating a welcoming space for community programs. Hopefully, these folks or other event organizers will choose to pay attention and get curious about our new weekly broadcast, The Spotlight, which happens on Wednesdays at 4, where we have an open invitation for any event organizer to join us live and tell us about their upcoming events so we can get excited about participating. And of course, this week, I'm going to be very busy prepping for a REQUIEM retrospective, which is my next music appreciation presentation, which will not be gloomy at all, even though we're talking about the Mass for the Departed. It's actually going to be quite interesting, if I may say so myself. This is, of course, on Thursday, April 4 at 5 p.m. at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work. And this is what I bring to the table today. Let us see what your comments bring to the table today. And purum pim pum, let's see what we have. Lots of good mornings. Thank you for that, Betsy. Yes, Coffee and Headlines' anniversary was yesterday. 4 years of sitting here and getting together with you in the morning and putting together my carefully curated collection of news and headlines from our city, state, and country, and taking a look at what things you are interested about as they relate to our city. And much more to come. Many more years. Let's see what we have here. Happy Monday for everyone from Den and Kathy. That's beautiful. Chris, oh my God, that's very far. No longer Miss Maloya. Regina Beach, Saskatchewan, Canada is in the house. Canada is just for fun. Daniel, I hope you've recovered from your jet lag. It is so good to see you, and I hope you got my love message from yesterday. Huge parade yesterday for the mayor of PB. Actually, just to clarify, Andrea, that was just a parade for one of the candidates, not the actual mayor. But yes, that's what they do. They go to different parts of the city. They parade. They gather a lot of people to help everyone believe that they are the most popular candidate. Some of the people that are brought to these events are actually followers. Other people are maybe just there because they were promised something. I don't know. I don't want to make things up. But that was just one of many celebrations or many events that we expect to see around the city between now and the end of the campaign period for the next Puerto Vallarta mayor. Let's see what else we have. This must have to do with that highway photograph I showed you. Looks like rush hour in Chicago. Well, unfortunately, it looks like rush hour in Guadalajara, which goes back to my point. The highway may be shorter, but once you get to the metropolitan area of Guadalajara, you are at the mercy of the traffic conditions of the city. Curtis reports what a busy week last week was. Great for the economy. Sorry to hear about all the accidents. The weather has been perfecto. I have to agree with you, Curtis. It's been lovely weather all this past week. The ocean may have been a little bit too frisky for vacationers, and some people may have been frustrated. But yes, it's good for the economy. I can only hope that tourists were respectful and behaved well and all that good stuff. I was fortunate to not have much to do with any of that. And here we are. And now let's see what else we have. When will the airport, this doesn't have a queue, when will the airport be completed? It took over 2 hours a month ago to go through customs. I have no idea. I really don't know, Ingrid. I see reports. I drive by or go by it by car, and I see that the construction is going, but it is really difficult to tell right now. As soon as we see a report, I'll be happy to share. Let's see. Pum pum pum. John likes Los Muertos Beach. Barbara likes Playa del Joli. You know, if I am going to go to a beach in town, I will probably go to Playa del Joli because the oasis is there and they take good care of you. If I'm not going to the beach within Puerto Vallarta, I love going to Las Animas, south of Puerto Vallarta. And I've also been thinking of just taking the bus and spending the day at Boca and just burying my feet in the sand there, and people watch and eat some palapa food and take lots of photos and videos and bring them back to you. Plus, the new dock at Boca de Tomatlan must be finished by now, or it will be inaugurated sometime in the near future, and I'm curious to see what that looks like. Albert says Playa Camarones is great after too much raicilla at El Barracuda. That can be dangerous. Let's see. Chris took the bait for Simi, so did Karen, and so did Jonathan. Well, it goes like this. It's very simple. In fact, come here. This guy was made by employees of Dr. Simi, which is actually the mascot for Farmacias Similares in Mexico. Farmacias Similares is one of several brands of generic drugs, and they have drugstores all over the place. And he became the mascot, and at some point, the pharmaceutical company or the drugstore company decided to employ a huge number of differently challenged employees. And it is these differently challenged employees that make this little guy. And they have a shop. You can actually buy different outfits for him, and it's really fascinating to see. And then at some point, and I don't know the origin story, but people going to concerts started throwing these at performers. And there are some performers that love that tradition. For example, Adele has posted her collection of Dr. Simis. Many of them are wearing like Adele drag. And other performers have not been too kind. I've seen videos of people going black, which is not nice. I've seen performers kicking the doll and saying, what the fuck? But for some reason, it is traditional in Mexico to buy little dolls and throw them at your favorite artist. My fascination with Dr. Simi is completely irrational and difficult to explain. Every time I see Dr. Simi dancing outside of the drugstore, I have this uncontrollable urge to hug him. Don't ask. It's weird. It's who I am. There are videos out there of me dancing with Dr. Simi, mostly self-generated. I just love the doll. So I'm happy that he's not going away. And that is my short dive into the world of Dr. Simi. Seriously, though, it is so great that the factory that makes them employs thousands of people with different talents and abilities than we have. So it's really awesome. More reports on beaches. Let's see. Playa Camarones near the lifeguard stand. Playa Joli in either direction. Those are my two favorites in town for sitting or walking. That's Pat Reese. Let's see what else we have. Kathleen says, happy April Fool's Day. How's the PV Costco revamp going? Well, we won't have a report on that until Dia de los Inocentes, which is Mexico's April Fool's Day, and that happens on December the 28th. I got into so much trouble last year for that report. Let's see what else is going on. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, yes, today is Gina's birthday. Happy birthday, Gina. I hope you got a good celebration yesterday. And here is, oh, thank you, Frank. Happy 4-year anniversary. Saw last year, March 31st episode. 3-year anniversary, and you were definitely nervous, but now you are a pro. Well, last year we opened with the first broadcast ever, and I was definitely nervous. I don't like to show that anymore because I was skinny. Well, I was thinner. Now we have COVID all over the face, but it is still up there in the archives if you ever want to see it. Let's see what else we have. Oh, and Sherry says, and I have been here watching all 4 years and have met great people from the cluster. Yay, Paco. Well, yay too, Sherry. If there's something I applaud about you every time you come to Puerto Vallarta is that you're not shy about reaching out to people and just making new friends, and that is admirable. I love it. Marie says, will they ever get that moving walkway at the airport actually moving again? I've been waiting 16 years now. Well, Marie, that's a very specific question. You may want to reach out to the airport authorities yourself. I don't see people writing articles about that. No, seriously, I think I've walked on that moving walkway. Maybe, maybe not. I don't even remember. You know, for me, it's no big deal. Maybe for you it is. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, Brian is packing his bags. I love it. When do you guys come back? You come back on Wednesday, right? I am hoping for an update. And this brings us to the end of Coffee and Headlines today. As always, it is a pleasure to connect with you through the broadcast, in person, as we run into each other around the city. And whenever you write to let me know about the connections that you've made. I always appreciate hearing from you. That fills my heart with gratitude. So this is what we do today. We are going to continue working on Thursday's presentation. We're going to put out some posts about Wednesday's The Spotlight to attract some event organizers. Thank you so much for spreading the word. And thank you so much for connecting with us here. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good one.